Speaking of the wild, because I'm ready to find out what happened now too. I'm ready to find out what happened now too, and not just with Jigga Man. Russell case got dismissed today. In the same day, Eric Adams gets in the same week. Eric Adams gets pardoned. People get laid off from the government. People step down and resign from the government. Russell Simmons get his case dismissed the same day Jay-Z's case is dismissed. What Twilight Zone have I fucking walked into? Where is that? Oh, here. Shout out to Law and Crime. Shout out to Law and Crime.
High-profile sexual assault case against hip-hop moguls P. Diddy and Jay-Z has been dismissed with prejudice, meaning it's been permanently dismissed and cannot be filed again. And this is a major civil lawsuit, too. It's the one involving Jane Doe, who claims she was raped by both Diddy and Jay-Z at a party when she was only 13 years old. For Law and Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie. Now, news of this broke early Friday evening when we got our hands on the court docs. They're pretty straightforward, too. Here's what they read, quote, "Pursuant to Rule 41A 1AI of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through her undersigned counsel, hereby gives notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Counsel for plaintiff have discussed this matter with counsel for each defendant who acknowledge and consent to this submission, dated New York, New York, February 14th, 2025. The court doc is short and sweet. That's really all it says. So we don't have the other details, like whether this was settled outside of court or whether Jane Doe suddenly felt there wasn't enough evidence in the case. And honestly, we may never know, given that it was dismissed with prejudice. Again, that means Jane Doe cannot bring a civil suit with these same allegations again against Diddy or Jay-Z. It's a huge win for Jay-Z and a decent win for Diddy too, though he still does face a slew of other civil lawsuits and of course those federal sex trafficking charges. Even though this lawsuit has been tossed out, let's still go through what Jane Doe was alleging. In the lawsuit filed last year, she alleged she was raped by both Diddy and Jay-Z at a VMA's after party back in the year 2000. Jane Doe alleges she was only 13 years old at the time. She was hoping to snag a ticket to the MTV Video Music Awards in September of 2000. She didn't get inside, but she did allegedly meet up with Diddy's limo driver, who apparently told her she fit what Diddy was looking for. Jane Doe alleges this limo driver picked her up later that evening and drove her to a white house behind a large gate. Inside, she says she was forced to sign an NDA and never received a copy of it. After all of that, she went into the party where she allegedly saw a lot of celebrities, illegal drug use, and some underage drinking. And Jane Doe herself even had a drink. She says she now believes it was spiked by Diddy or one of his associates because after she had some, she started to feel off.
Yo, this is like the most evil picture alive of Diddy, yo. This picture right here looks so fucking devilish. I'm sorry, I had to pause it here. This picture looks like a fucking demon.
Jane Doe says she went into a room that she thought was empty but didn't lock the door. As she was laying down, she alleges Diddy busted open the door and yelled, quote, "You are ready to party." Now, there were allegedly 3 celebrities involved in this next part. Diddy and 2 other people originally listed in the lawsuit as Celebrity A and Celebrity B. Jane Doe says she was raped by Celebrity A as Celebrity B and Diddy watched. And after that, she claimed Diddy raped her as the others watched on too. Several weeks later, though, she amended the lawsuit to include the name of Celebrity A, Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z. That was the first time we heard Jay-Z's name in relation to any sexual assault allegations, and he's always denied these allegations, as has Diddy. Now, Celebrity B has not been publicly named, but there are some allegations that it was Jennifer Lopez, Diddy's girlfriend at the time of this alleged incident. Again, we cannot confirm that, just allegations. Now, fast forward to several weeks after all of this, Jay-Z's team picked apart bits of Jane Doe's lawsuit and factual inconsistencies between the original filings and an interview she later did with NBC. For example, Jane Doe said in the interview that she spoke with Benji Madden the night of the assault that happened in New York. But he wasn't even in the state at the time. He was actually in the Midwest with his band Good Charlotte. Jay-Z's team also pointed to the lawsuit where Jane Doe says her father picked her up after this alleged incident. But in the NBC interview, her father said he had just learned of the allegations that very year. Now, the case was quiet for a while until now, when it has officially been thrown out. Now that you're all caught up on today's breaking news, we're going to throw it to Law and Crime's Jesse Weber to break down Diddy's latest superseding indictment in his federal case. For Law and Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Sean Combs has officially been hit with a superseding indictment. In other words, an amended indictment in the Southern District of New York. This is in regards to his criminal case. We expected that there was going to be a superseding indictment. The prosecutors in this case even indicated that that might happen. Is this what we expected? Not really. I'll explain why. Because when I say sort of red alert, we got to be very clear about what this new indictment says and what this new indictment does not say. So let me start off right from the bat. There are no new charges against Sean Combs. There are no new defendants.
Okay. We kind of know about that part already. Now that we know about. Already. But I just wanted to, I guess, get a further understanding. Now, see, that's very vague. I'm just going to be honest. This is very vague here. So I'm very skeptical on now how this case just got suddenly dropped and dismissed. In my head, I'm envisioning someone just pushed this nigga Busby in the back of a van, found him and tortured the fuck out of him and said, I submit. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But I would like to also figure out first why this case got dismissed in the first place. Right now, they don't really have a word on it. They just have the Rock Nation, we call it the Rock Nation Post. Let me see. Rock Nation IG. What is this? They have the case up here? Okay, so pursuant to rule of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through here, undersigned counsel hereby gives notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Counsel for plaintiff have discussed this matter with counsel for each defendant who acknowledged and consent to this submission. And Rock Nation puts a post, today is a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable. If not for the seriousness of the claims, I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. The court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all victims and those falsely accused equally. Sean Carter. So, needless to say, which I said this before, right? I already knew Jay was going to get off this. Not necessarily Jay Prince. Jay Prince ain't got nothing to do with this. This is because Jay is the godfather now. Jay is literally the black godfather right now of entertainment industry. That is why Jay's off. Diddy's not going to get off. Diddy has way too much on his plate for him to be let off, even in May. The reason why Jay, like I said, is let off right now is because he is literally the black godfather that has replaced Clarence Avant. If that house ever gets raided, we'll know that the party is officially dead. Until then, everything is questionable. Yes, very much so, very much so. But see, the thing is, with this case being dismissed, now it puts a spotlight on all of the other cases that have to do with Diddy. It puts a huge spotlight, and a bad one at that. It puts a red spotlight now on all of these cases with Diddy. So now we're going to have to see what's going to come of this. Is there going to be a situation now to where they start looking at everything with a side eye? Is all of a sudden now all of his cases just going to drop out the sky and be dismissed? Reason why I'm asking that question now is because after Eric Adams gets pardoned, Jay-Z's case gets dismissed. But then Russell Simmons' lawsuit is also dismissed this morning as well. I couldn't believe it. Russell Simmons escapes a Def Jam exec rape lawsuit for now because he lives in Indonesia. Of all the reasons. Of all of the reasons. Let's get a better article on this here. So Russell Simmons defeats ex-music exec's sex assault lawsuit. Russell, wait a minute, why is this in here? Oh, another one of those. Okay, so let me just do this. Let me just go to this source. Let me just go to there. Oh, actually, no. I can do this. I can do hot new hip hop. In fact, yeah, Russell Simmons' stateless move to Indonesia caused the dismissal in federal Jane Doe's case. So being that he moved to Bali, he pretty much knew that that would get the case dismissed. So Russell Simmons has once again avoided legal trouble, this time by leveraging his residency in Indonesia. A federal judge dismissed a sexual assault lawsuit against the hip-hop mogul, ruling that Simmons is a stateless American citizen, placing him outside the court's jurisdiction. Jane Doe, a former Def Jam executive, accused Simmons of raping her in the 1990s after luring her to his Manhattan apartment under the pretense of reviewing a music video. Her lawsuit was part of a wave of cases filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which temporarily lifted the statute of limitations for adult victims of sexual abuse. Simmons' legal team argued that the case should be thrown out because he has lived in Indonesia since 2018. Judge John G. Qualtel agreed, finding that the plaintiff failed to prove Simmons was still domiciled. Okay. Simmons was still domiciled in New York when she filed her complaint. So pretty much being that he was out of the state since when the case was filed, it wouldn't even go against him in the first place, unfortunately. The ruling boiled down to jurisdiction, since Simmons no longer resides in any U.S. state and has held a permanent retirement visa in Indonesia since 2021. The court could not claim authority over him. And I'll play this interview here when he was talking about the allegations.
This morning, music mogul Russell Simmons stepping away from his businesses.
Russell Simmons
want notoriety in a market where people thirst for fame, even infamous. Could someone who just came out of jail and want to sue you because they had an experience and they can reimagine it just a little bit different? And could you be vulnerable enough to accept it? I took 9 lie detector tests. People don't know that. 9 separate. 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph Association. 1 for each of the serious accusations. 1 for when someone said, for instance, I was violent. One person said that. I've never been violent. Took that. And 1 for I apologized. I never apologized about assaulting anyone. But if 2 people say it, because one said it and me too, and the second person said it, then I took a test for it. 3 hours per test by 2 polygraph examiners. 1 that I've never done this to anyone and 1 I've never done to each individual. Some people say that they're not accurate, but if they're 94% accurate, I did 9 of them. It's pretty clear that I don't believe it. I even asked what if I believe it, but it's not true? He said, your subconscious will get you. I said, I don't know how true that is, but that's what was told to me by the chairman of the Polygraph Association. He was filmed, by the way, talking about this, so there's footage available. No one in the mainstream would cover that.
Why do you think that is?
There's a narrative
Which is what?
that we don't want to go backwards. We want to believe women. But women and celebrities may be in some cases a little different. But we don't want to not believe women. We have to believe women. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we can't demonize people without proof either.
So the judge had cited key evidence supporting Simmons' foreign residency. Simmons sold his New York apartment in 2021. He holds an Indonesian driver's license and has lived in multiple homes across the country. Jane Doe's lawyers argue that Simmons' social media posts, business ties, and occasional visits to New York proved he was still connected to the state. However, the court rejected that claim, stating that the social media activity and periodic trips do not establish legal domicile. During his disposition, Simmons made his stance clear. "I don't live in America. America's not my home," he stated. The Def Jam co-founder has denied more than a dozen sexual assault allegations, maintaining that all past encounters were consensual. Despite this legal victory, Simmons is not in the clear. He still faces allegations. He failed to pay nearly $9 million in settlements to 6 women who accused him of sexual misconduct. I mean, $9 million, he can pretty much just shell out $10 million right now and tell him keep the change. That's the crazy part about that. But yeah, so the same day, we find out about Jay-Z's case being dropped voluntarily. I get the same news about Russell Simmons because he lives in Indonesia all of a sudden. Yes, 18 likes. Please hit the like button on the way in. That is the Cash App there on the left-hand corner if you would like to donate. I would greatly appreciate that. As I said last night, before we did hit the goal, your boy is here to stay, and I'm going to be also dropping, like I said, an exclusive. I'm working some overtime Sunday, so bear with me. Instead of Monday, just give me till at least Tuesday. I'll be off the following 2 days. So at least give me till Tuesday to drop the new documentary. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to say it's my first real official documentary. So like I said, give me a little bit of time with it. My first real official documentary with a good YouTube edit. But I'm doing some, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do some shit for my boy. Do some real shit for my boy, rest in peace. There have been too many people online throwing fake accusations for clout. It screws up the legit cases. Yes, it's very true. That is very, very true. It does screw up for the people that are telling the actual truth out here. I absolutely agree with you on that. All right.